I was just having a closer look, really. This is one of my all-time favourite Fender amplifiers, the Super Reverb. Just an amazing sound. The owner says that the volume fades. That could either be simple or quite a challenge. Either way, let's both get caffeinated, regroup here in a couple of minutes, and let's get started. Ooh, oh, thanks, Harley. Daphne Blue. You know, I don't like revisiting old loves. It just hurts. Yeah, Dad, I know, I'm sorry, but you did love that Fiesta Blue Strat. I did, Harley. Thank you for your consideration. Well, here's to Fiesta Blue. Ah, God. All right, let's have a look at the exterior of this. Obviously, it's been well used. This is going to take a little bit of lifting, so I'm going to insert some photos. The top, excellent condition, bit of corrosion on the straps, which adds to its mojo, and the handle. We've got a bit more wear at the bottom edge of that side. A scuff there. Bit of corrosion on our tilt back legs. This side also, we'll have to have a look at the underneath and see what's happening here. Hopefully there's no damage to the cabinet. But also wear down the bottom of this side. The rear of it seems to be in better condition. Okay, let's put it on the bench. Let's check out the valves. And I'm hoping that we're going to find a couple of gems here. Power tubes wear out, they run hot, they run hard. Preamp tubes, if we're lucky, we might find a couple of gems here because they don't often just fail. They might get microphonic. Many times we'll see some original valves in here. All right, this is V1 for the normal channel, and that is a JJ. 12AX7. V2, the first preamp stage for the vibrato channel, also a JJ. This is the reverb driver, V3. Should be a 12AT7. It is indeed a 12AT7, a Sovtech. Nothing wrong with that. So far, nothing too exciting, but nothing disappointing either. Moving along, there's our reverb transformer that you can just see there. So this is reverb recovery and mixing tube, triad, and also Sovtech. 12AX7. This is our oscillator tube for our tremolo. Should be a 12AX7. And it is a 12AX7 Sovtech. Our sound, this is the most flexible tube. In other words, I mean, if there was going to be a crappy microphonic, cheap tube, this is where you'd put it. All you want it to do is oscillate. Your sound isn't going to go through it. So that's where you put the troublesome valves. This is our phase inverter, 12AT7 it should be on this era, which it is, also Sovtech. Okay, now I am sure all these tubes are fine, but I'm sus. I do not believe that every single preamp tube in this amp has failed or gone microphonic. It just doesn't happen. What does happen is you sometimes get some unethical techs that will souvenir the classic bits of tubing or sometimes capacitors. Basically, it's called theft. And this is totally acceptable that the power tubes have been replaced with JJ6L6s. They're fine. And these will be tested because they do wear out more than any other tube. Here we have the rectifier tube, and it looks like, oh my God, I don't believe it. It looks like we've actually got the original rectifier tube. Looks like a GZ34. Was a international transformer, multiple windings on the primary side. And you might say, oh, that's been snapped off. Well, I don't mind that it has, because it just stops someone accidentally selecting the wrong voltage. You can see it was originally designed for 117 volts, for which a 2 amp fuse would be ideal. But we're now running at 240 volts, so this should be a 1 amp fuse to protect the amp properly. Many times it's wrong. Let's have a look. Oh my God. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? It says 3 amp. 3 amp would have been too high if it was in America, running at 117 volts. In Australia, it should be 1 amp. This fuse offers no protection at all. One of my favourite fuses is a little fuse. That is a 1 amp slow blow. I need to put a new label over that so the owner will never get confused again. This is my pet hate. If you other techs, don't know what fuse to put in, you don't know how to wire up a mains lead. For a start, the most basic things, you have absolutely no business in accepting money for work when you don't know what the hell you're doing. This is just a travesty. If this amp burned up, I know you would shift the blame to the owner and say, oh, it's because you stuck the hypergalactic interpolator in the wrong output socket, when it's the actual fact. It's your fault because you don't know how to do basic wiring. Sadly, there is no governing body in Australia, and I suspect in other parts of the world as well, where you have to have any qualification. Literally anybody. My dog Harley. You did? Yeah, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking about you. Oh, okay. Literally my dog Harley could hang a shingle over his kennel. Not that he sleeps in a kennel, he sleeps in my room. And say, I'm a guitar tech, a guitar amp tech. And this is the result of that lack of any governance. Transformers. Schumacher, 1964. A triad choke. Our iron matches all nicely. Our output transformer came from Schumacher in late 63. The output transformer, Schumacher, from 64. Reverb driver, also 64. And this triad choke. Okay, the capacitors have been changed. Whoever installed them installed some nice sprags in there, Sprague atoms. And he's also changed a couple of the dropping resistors here. Okay, and that appears to be a pretty neat job, so I'm happy to see that. I'm still going to test them because I trust nobody. And I just want to see if they're still good. I expect they will be because they were very good caps to begin with. Let's measure these filter caps together. I'm pretty confident that they will be okay. So first I need to set up my LCR meter, set it for electrolytic capacitors. And we don't want to measure at 1 kilohertz because these are being used at 100 hertz. And we want to measure Q, theta. One day I'll do a video on what all these different variables that have to do with the reactance of a capacitor or an inductor mean, but we're going to measure ESR. Now this instrument can measure components in circuit most of the time. Sometimes you have to disconnect one of the legs on it. So 100 microfarad at 350 volts, I'd be wanting to see something 2 ohms or less. 2.05, that's good enough for me. This one, spot on the money with that. Very healthy in the ESR, so expect good long life out of this one. All right, now let's check these 3 20 microfarad caps. I'd be wanting to see something 5 to 6 ohms. What have we got? 20 microfarad at 5 to 6 ohms. That's good. That's a little bit high. We won't condemn it yet, but I'd be happy to see something like 5 or 6. Okay, now we can start condemning. That's up to 8. Capacitance still okay. And this is what I mean. It is inadequate to just measure. See, that one's okay. It's inadequate to just measure the capacitance. You always have to know the ESR because this will give us an indication of the life of the capacitor. And there is no point in measuring it at 100 kilohertz when we're operating it at 100 hertz. So how do I know that I want to see something less than 5 ohms? Well, I can look up specs, but I can also look up known good capacitors. So here is a Vichy, which is 22 microfarad at 450 volts. And it reads an ESR of 1.8. And I'd be happy with anything under 5. Let's check another one. Another 1.8, very consistent. 24, well within spec. 1.9, also well within spec. Is it the cause of his volume fading? No, it's not. But it will, in some short period of time, and short could be a month, it could be a year. I don't know. But I know that these 3 smaller filter caps are going to fail at some stage. I could use MODs, which I like, and they're silver colour. I could use F&Ts, which are black, but I'm going to use my Vichys. A, because they're really good caps, and because they're blue, and they're going to match with the 2 remaining large sprays that are going to be there. Well, that's a good place to leave it for today. We haven't even applied power to this, and yet we've been very busy, basically getting it safe. So I think I'm now at the point where I can start testing the power tubes, where I'm hoping that fading volume is being the cause of, but we don't know. So I'm going to test the tubes, put them back in, bias the amp, and then I'm just going to slam it hard with a sine wave, a merciless sine wave, until I see this volume fade, or hopefully not fade. But I can tell them my BC levels are dropping dangerously low. I might slip into unconsciousness any time now. So on this somber note, I need to get those levels back up to a healthy point, and I'll see you at part 2.